Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. Sorry again about the voice. I'm still feeling under the weather, but California just will not let me rest. This 2024 session is proving to be pretty much just like the rest, where California lawmakers are coming up with just absolutely ridiculous new and creative ways to force gun control on the people of that state. The one that we're going to be talking about today is got to be one of the lowest snake in the grass backdoor bills that I have seen yet. And the chances of this one passing are extremely high. So you're going to want to pay attention. Let's talk about it. Now, before we get started, I want to talk about today's sponsor, which is Delete Me, an amazing service that allows you to get your online privacy back. Believe it or not, there are data brokerage sites out there whose sole mission is to gather and sell your personal data. So what is Delete Me and how does it help? Well, Delete Me is a company that cares about your personal privacy. And so what they will do is collect your information and then search those data brokerage sites and remove your personal identifying information from them. Now, I personally have a Delete Me account, and in just the first week alone, they've already removed my information from 15 sites. Your dashboard gives you all of the information that you're going to need in order to control your online privacy. For instance, some of the data you can find on your dashboard are listings reviewed. In my case, there was 8,881, and the type of exposed data that they found. So if your online data privacy is important to you, join Delete Me. Use the link down below to save 20% or use the discount code COPPERJACKET. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. So, like I said before, this legislative session is turning out to be just like every single one in the past where they come up with new and creative stuff. You guys might remember the video I made last week talking about the new bill that would force annual registration on every single firearm in the state of California. And again, that's every year, including fees, and it's just a huge mess. If you guys haven't seen that video, I'll link that video down below, but I believe it's just the last video because I've been sick. Regardless, that was a huge one. That's one we're going to be following pretty closely. This one it kind of works on the same level, except it's a more backdoor and sneaky way of doing it, creating a registry and kind of really peering into your house. So this is a way for California to see now into your home. So there's a brand new bill, and this bill, which was introduced by Assemblymember Gibson, is AB 3067. Okay, so let's go and break this down a little bit before we dive into the bill, which will give us a little bit more detail. But essentially what this bill does is the state of California will be forcing insurance companies to spy on you for them and to let them know what you own, where it is, how you have it stored, everything about it. So what we have here is a bill that says to insurance companies, whether they provide basically property insurance, renter's insurance, or homeowner's insurance, to add several questions to your policy. And those questions all have to do with your firearms, what you own, how you store them, where you have them, what they are, all that stuff, right? Their value, everything. And then once you answer those questions and send it back to your insurer, that information, instead of just staying with your insurer, is now going to be sent to the state of California. So the state of California will know absolutely everything about each homeowner, each property owner, everybody who has an apartment with renter's insurance. All of that stuff is going to be going to the state if this bill passes. Now you might think to yourself, I'm just not going to fill that information out. They don't need to know about any of that stuff, right? Well, there's a pretty good chance that if you don't fill that out, guess what's going to happen if something bad happens, right? Let's say that there's a fire, consumes everything. Then the investigator comes out later on, notices that you have a bunch of stuff that you didn't put down on there, right? Well, that could be a violation of your policy, and all of a sudden they decide not to cover it. It's a total loss. You still owe on it, but they're not going to cover it because you said you didn't have those when in fact you did. There's a lot going on here, and there's ways that they can try and force people to do it. But for more information, let's just dive into the bill itself. Now, try and keep in mind, as I've read this multiple times, the one thing that I'm taking away here is that it is for the purpose of creating another registry. And this time the registry will be even more detailed because it'll say exactly how you have it and where you keep it and stuff like that, so they can hold you accountable later on. And like we've all said for decades now, registration does lead to confiscation. So there is no good purpose for this other than more information goes to the state of California. So let's just go ahead and read this from the Legislative Council Digest. This bill would require an insurer by January 1st, 2026, to include questions on an application for homeowners or renters insurance seeking specified information regarding the presence and storage of any firearms kept in the household, accessories, structures, or vehicles kept on the property, subject to any applicable insurance policy. This bill would require an insurer to annually report this information to the Department of Justice and the legislature beginning on January 1st, 2027, and would prohibit the inclusion of confidential identifying information on the report, which I highly doubt. These people are known to leak things to the public and to several other, research and education and study groups. And that doesn't even mean that they couldn't amend this bill one day later to include that. So it says the people of the state of California do enact as follows. Section 12086 is added to the insurance code to read, in addition to existing regulations and applications for homeowners or renters insurance shall include questions regarding all of the following: whether there are firearms kept in the household, including any accessory structures, and if so, how many? 2, whether the firearm, if any, is stored in a locked container in the home, including any accessory structures, while not in use. So they want to know whether or not you're complying with California's law. That has nothing to do with insurance, but they still want that information. 3, the number of firearms kept in a vehicle located on the property, subject to the applicable insurance policy, and if any, whether they are stored securely in a locked container while not in use. B, an insurer shall update the contents of their applications for homeowners or renters insurance to include the questions regarding the presence, storage, and number of firearms by January 1st, 2026. An insurer shall annually report the information gathered from the questions regarding the presence, storage, and number to the Department of Justice and to the legislature beginning on January 1st, 2027. And it basically continues on with what we've already read. For the purposes of this section, locked container has the same meaning as in section 16850 of the Penal Code. Basically, it's got to be a California approved container. Now, I'm sure you noticed in there that it says this is not supposed to provide any personal identifying information. Well, okay, let's just say for the sake of argument that actually doesn't happen. I don't believe it, but let's just say for the sake of argument that doesn't happen. They don't send any personal identifying information up there. But obviously they're going to send it up there with an address, right? You want to know what the property is. The property here at 000 whatever way has got this. They have this many units. There's this much stuff there, and they send it on up. Well, it doesn't take much to say on January 1st of 2027, so-and-so lived here on that day. Connecting the dots is as simple as a quick search, especially for the state, right? So matching names up with property insurance and stuff like that isn't hard at all. Not to mention California gives out stuff to research groups, colleges, universities. They've accidentally leaked them online a couple times. And so this is not something that I would trust the state with. But while they have one bill that's completely open and in your face that says, hey, look, we're going to require you to register them every single year, this bill takes an extra step into your home and says, where are they? Are they in your vehicle? Are they in your house? Are they in a locked container? How many locked containers do you have? I mean, this really takes that extra step into your private property, right? Into your private business, which, I mean, it's all your private business. What I even purchase is none of their business. What store I'm at the moment is none of their business. But, just given that California basically requires a background check for everything right now, they already have that information. But taking it a step further, and moving it into your home is a step that I just absolutely despise. I mean, it's just disgusting. It's just disgusting. But that's the problem with California, is you have all of these politicians who want to try and pander to their base to say that they did something. And since so many somethings have been done in that state, there's no somethings left. So they have to come up with these ultra creative ways that make absolutely no sense to try and come up with a new something. And that's kind of what we have here. It's getting out of control. It makes you wonder every single year, how could they possibly come up with anything new? There are already more than 100 laws in this specific sphere in the state of California, and I guarantee you they'll find ways to make more. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. It's just another bill introduced in this state, and I'm sure we're going to see more throughout this legislative session. I will bring those to you. If you haven't done so already, hit that little alarm bell. That'll let you know when new videos come out. And if you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a great day.